How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is a map tour for a new mod map to Farming Simulator 22 called Fjorddal. We're going to start with the description from the mod hub, and it reads, "You have now arrived in Fjorddal, a fictional valley in West Norway. This map has been built with the idea of having a great view from the main farm on the map, and include some interesting and a little bit unrealistic elements such as the island with both two bridges and a ferry. I have also played around with making the train go over the two bridges, through the chocolate factory, and even into a drivable tunnel in the mountain where the sell point is, which I think makes the map quite unique. To get the ferry, you will need to download the ferry pack, which is for PC only. This means console players need to use the bridges. The map got some steep fields, just like West Norway, and this means you'll need powerful vehicles to work the land and small machines that fit the roads. I have made one of the fields extremely steep, just like a ski hill, so you can really push your tractor to the limits. Most of the fields got lots of bushes around, inspired by the hedges in the British map. This is my second map so far, and I have not created any other objects myself. I use base game buildings and prefab stuff. The map requires the Fantastic Buildings of Norway mod installed to run. This is because the Norwegian buildings come from that mod. The buyable plots have been priced to suit the value of both the land and the function of the buildings that come with it. Since most of the buildings are sellable, the sell prices of them can be higher what you paid for the land. Unfortunately, to use the BGA you will need to buy it. If you want to use the bunker silos, you will need to buy the land plot as well. On the map you will find one main road, smaller public road, and farm tracks, fjord and river where you can fill your water tankers, several farms with fields and animal pastures, 62 buyable plots of land, 88 fields with missions. They have different sizes and shapes, both arable and grass, several forests, and an open plot of land, number 62 for creating your own area. More than 10 sell points that take different products. Train which can be used for selling goods, several placeable production points, a BGA and bunker silos, sawmill area with water pond, 100 collectible cheese wedges around the map, 2 view towers located in some good spots, recommended mods, more animals husbandry possible, ferry pack for TCBOMCE. I hope you enjoy the map. There are mods required for this map, and it's just one of them. It's the Buildings of Norway by Alejandor, and this map was created by Olis9 and is 149.41 megabytes to download. If we take a look at the map, this is what it looks like. We start out here kind of in the southwest portion of the map at our main starting farm. We start out by owning farmland number 25, and that includes our main farm, a wheat field which is ready to harvest, and 3 grass fields. All those are ready to harvest. You're not able to purchase all areas on the map, and prices of the map do vary. You get a couple of these areas here where the fields and whatnot are combined, but we'll start out with this one, 123,000. Down here we have a farm that's attached to this, so that's why it's at 424,000. Let's see, let's start with some of these fields. 79,000, we got 34,000, so you get some really good introductory price fields around the east side of the map here, and even just kind of splattered all over the map here. But you do also get some of these where they're kind of combined into other fields as well. So if you see an elevated price like here, 438,000, it's more than likely not just because they're fields or they're very expensive. It's because there's also farms kind of hidden behind there. And we'll go through the tour and we'll show those off. We go through the animals. We do start out with a cow barn. Contracts are available on this map. No production chains to start out with, and there are collectibles, 100 to be precise, and they're the little cheese wedges from, I think it's Erlengrot? Or no, it might be the Hobelaron that has the cheese wedges. I cannot remember which one. Let's see. For mods specific to this map, start out under the buy menu. Nothing under the buy menu, but under the build menu. Under buildings, we do have under sheds. We scroll to the right, you will see you've got all these buildings in Norway, but here at the very end we have the Fjorddal mod specific to this map. Under silos, we do have a couple here as well. Nothing under silo extensions, but under containers, we do have the small petrol tank right there. Same thing here under tools. We do have a couple of the mods that are required for the buildings in Norway, but we do have a couple of Fjorddal mods specific to this map. and nothing under farmhouses. There is nothing listed under productions here, but under animals, we start out here under cows, nothing for cows. Under horses, we do have a mod specific to this map. Same thing with pigs, as you can see here. Nothing for sheep, but we have some for chickens. We even have some for bees. We scroll to the right, you'll see right here. And we also have one for others. If we take a look at our decorations, there's nothing under any of these three subgroups here, fences, lights, or others. And then lastly, we have landscaping. We do have some additional painting swatches. Let's see, and there's nothing under trees or plants. Now, because we start here at the starting farm, let's go ahead and take a look at our starting equipment. Under our buy menu, scrolling down to our owned items, under small tractors, we have a Case Maxim CVX 115. Under medium tractors, we have the Valtra T255 Active, as well as the John Deere 7810. Harvesters, we have the Rosselmash Nova 330. Trailers, the Crampy Half-Pipe HP 20. Under headers, we have the header for the Rosselmash. Under subsoilers, we have the Kverneland DTX 300 AR. Seeders, the Nordseen HK25 and S3030. Fertilizer spreaders, we have the Amazon ZATS 3200. Under slurry tanks, the FarmTech Super Cease 800. Mowers, the Kverneland 4140L. Windrowers, the Samaz Z2840H. Under forage wagons, the Pottinger Boss Alpen 251. Front loaders, the Quickie Q4M. Under front loader tools, we have the L-Butt Pallet Fork and Universal Bucket. And under weights, we have the AGCO 2300 and 1100. And that is everything. So starting out here, right behind me, go up the hill, around the side, we have our sleep trigger right here. And then at the bottom of the hill, we have our cow barn. And that's it. That's basically the entire farm. Not a whole lot going on here, but we have room for 60 cows. We have our slurry output right there. We have our milk output right here. And I think we got a little bit of storage tucked away in here. And I believe this is where you can put in for your straw. And I think that is it for this area. I don't think we have a manure heap available to us. No. Oh, let me out. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and grab the case right here. We're going to make our way around this map. We're going to be referencing the map quite a bit on the journey here because there's, I think, 7 farms in total, including the starting farm here. So we got a lot of places to see and do. So heading down the road just a little ways, we're going to be making our way to the second farm. We'll make a right here. And as we make our way down this little 2-track here, not even really a 2-track as much as just a dirt road. Keep on making our way until we get to the top of this hill, and here we are at farm number 2. So we'll stop right here and take a look at the map. So we started here at our starting farm, came all the way down to here. We take a look at farmland number 30. We can purchase it for $421,728, and we need to borrow pretty much all the money we can. Now, the nice thing about this map is if you buy a farm, you can sell it and you get all your money back. You don't have to worry about placeables or anything like that that's going to prevent you from making your sale. So go ahead and purchase. And after we purchase, you can see all these little icons appear. So starting out here, we have our wardrobe trigger and sleep trigger. And we have a cow barn. Let's see. I believe this is our milk point here. We have our feed input here. We have our cow animal dialogue right there. 65 cows can fit in here. And our slurry output here. Go back to the tractor. That's literally all that's it. A lot of these farms have maybe 1 or 2 elements on them, and that's really about it. There's not a lot. And actually, before we get going to the next one, I'm going to go ahead and sell this off and get the money back. So now we got to backtrack down the drive and make our way back to the main road. Now I will say, as going around this map, you have a lot of beautiful undulations. It's really kind of built into the hillsides. A lot of the farms just kind of really fit nicely in the map itself. And everywhere you look, you have something very gorgeous to look at. We'll continue on going straight here. And with the terrain that you do have here, it really does match up very well with that background card, the big mountains in the background. There's many maps out there where they'll use that kind of mountainous background, and the playing area is super flat, or it has very small undulations. It just doesn't seem like it really fits when you have that like extremely mountainous area in the background. So this really does seem like it's a part of the natural landscape and a part of that kind of natural background as well. So up here we're coming up to our next point of interest. Going down the hill here, you can see just the steep decline that we have here coming into town. Now directly in front of us and just across the street is the biogas plant. Now you do have to purchase the land that the biogas sits on in order to utilize it. So we'll stop right here. Now we were here at farm number 2, came back up to the main road, came all the way around here and up to here. Farmland number 42 can be purchased for $440,500. We'll go ahead and purchase. And now you can see we not only own the land, but the bunks can be utilized now. So all these bunker silos over here. And this is just a standard biogas plant. You got your wrench activation area to go into the production itself. We have our solid input here, liquid input in front of me, and over here our liquid output, aka our digestate. And now we'll go ahead and leave here, but before we do, let's go ahead and sell off the land once again. Because again, a lot of these areas you can buy and then sell again. There was one area that I purchased when I was kind of doing my initial walkthrough that I was unable to sell the land. So thankfully it wasn't that expensive. Now come up here. Make our way up the hill. And then coming up here in the background, you can see this big building here is going to be our first sell point that we can come to. And one thing I've noticed, and you're going to see it here at this selling point here, this is the Hotel Fjorddal sell point right here. One thing I've noticed is that none of these sell points have the sell icon associated to them, the little dump icon to them. I haven't tested any of them to see if they actually work as sell points. I presume they do because of the, prices per 1,000 indicate that there are selling points. So I just think that most likely we're just missing the icon. That's my hope, at least. So now leaving here, we're going to go to our next point of interest, which is another sell point. One thing this map is going to do for anybody who plays on it is it's going to force you to think, what is the biggest engine I can get for the smallest package that I can have it in? Meaning that any tractors, any harvesters, anything that you use on this map is going to have a ton of power associated to it. Because all these hills, especially once you have them engaged with like a harvester. If you haven't engaged with the harvesting portion of it, you're going to be using up the extra power that you have with the harvesting and then the rotating of the header. But you're going to have some left over in order to be able to make your way through some of these fields. Now here to my right is the River Spinnery sell point. Now we will make our way back down the driveway and head to our next point of interest. We have to get back to the main road and continue heading south. You can see these buildings coming up here. This is going to be farm number 3. Now we'll pull up right here and take a look at the map. So we were here at the biogas plant. We came down the road over to the Hotel Fjorddal. We then backtracked, came down to this driveway to the River Spinnery, then came back over to here to farmland number 58 for $414,900. We'll go ahead and purchase. And we have a sleep trigger right here. We have a horse pasture right here. I'm sorry, pig pasture right here. Room for 30 pigs. And over here, another cow barn. Room for 125 cows. Now, I will say that is there, but unfortunately, because it's right on top of this animal dialogue box, I cannot get to it. I've yet to figure out how to be able to actually pick that particular piece of cheese up, so they're likely going to need to be updated. Here we have the food input, slurry output. And milk output right there. Now let's go ahead and sell this farm back. There we go. Now we continue down south. And I apologize if you hear the thunder in the background and my dog whining. She is not a fan of the booms. So we're going to continue to make our way through here. We're going to go straight at first, but we are going to have to head down that driveway as well. And we need to be careful coming up to this little bridge. It's extremely narrow, and when I came through here the first time, I lost my tractor. So, farmland number 60. Actually, we were up here, and we came down this road here up to farmland number 60, $406,384. Purchase that, and now hop over the fence. Sleep trigger right here. We have a horse pasture right here, room for 5 horses, and then our water and feed go in here. And then around here we have another cow barn. Room for 200 cows. We have our feed goes in there. Milk here. And I believe it was around the backside. Over here. Went in the wrong direction. That's all right. Slurry right here. So now, go ahead and head back into the tractor, get turned around, and we'll sell off all the farmland here. Get turned around. Again, have to be careful over that little narrow bridge there. I can see many people in a hurry will go into that little river there. So now, heading a little bit further south to the last farm in this immediate area. This is going to be farm number 5. Come up and open the gates and purchase it. So we were here, farm number 4, came down here, farm number 5, farmland number 61 for $403,440. Go ahead and purchase. And in front of me here we have our sheep barn. room for 200 sheep. We have our feed goes here, and wool spawns here. Over here, have our sleep trigger. And over here, we have a chicken pasture. Room for 30 chickens, feed here, and eggs spawn here. Head back to the tractor, sell the farm, and head around to our next point of interest. I'm going to have to do a wee bit of backtracking here, because now we got to get into the actual town itself. So we'll sell off that. And now head back to the town area where we first encountered the biogas plant. Make a left, and then follow this road all the way out. Now the one thing I will say is in certain areas with the fencing all around the roadways here, is that in some areas it does narrow down pretty significantly. And as you're kind of driving it, if you're not paying attention, you get too close to these fences, there are collisions. And again, I've found myself tipped over because I bumped into it, and you go running up it pretty quick. So as we come up to this intersection here, we're going to make a left. There we go. Continuing to come down the hill. And here, pretty much going to go straight across the street. To the shop. Shop trigger, it's right here. And repair trigger, right in front, right here. And we do have access to this little forklift here. Heading back out. Gonna make a left here. And make a right. And tucked away just back here is our first production point. Stop right here. This is I think that's Sinov Fidden cheese. For 50,000 you can purchase this. And we have our output for the production and input right there. We need to get turned around. Now here in front of me is the railroad silo, the train silo. This is the input and output for your trailers. Tucked around the back. I'll just pull over right here. So right back here. Oh, hey, incoming train. Input and output for the train there, and a train rent trigger down in the corner over there. Now, tucked away over here is the lime station. A little buy point for lime. Down the road, we have the Joker sell point right there. Turn and go across the tracks. Now, tucked away over here is the spinnery. Stop there. You can purchase the spinnery for 60,000. Inputs and output right there. Right next door is the grain mill production point. Stop here. Can be purchased for 96,000. We have our input here, and with this particular mod, I've always been confused as to where this produces the final output, but I think potentially down here. I do not see anywhere where it's actually marked with a clear output. but this mod has been on many other maps, and it's just not clearly indicated. Over in the corner, just in front of the water there, we have the Fjorddal Harbor sell point. Over there, next to all those bales, that is the bales sell point. And here we have the animal dealer. Now you can come to this location and use this animal dialogue box in order to purchase your animals. You can also use the same animal dialogue box at your pens and pastures that you have all over the map. If you use this dialogue box directly, you will incur an additional fee. That fee is associated to a delivery fee. Essentially, the animal dealer here is going to take the animals and going to deliver them for you. And it gets pretty expensive. For an adult cow, as you can see here, is $100 per cow. In our case, we can have up to 60 cows. That's an extra $6 grand that we can spend right off the bat. Now, we can save that money by bringing an animal trailer to this location, loading it into the animal trailer directly, and then driving the animals to the pens or pastures ourselves. And, you know, who can save a little bit of money, especially right at the very beginning? So now we have to head out. Whoops, wrong button. Head out of here and head in this direction now. Now through these trees you'll see the icon there for the farmer's market. And now coming up here, we're going to stop right here. And tucked away here we have the carpentry right here, 60,000 to purchase. Inputs here, wood cell trigger, and output there. And behind it, we have the sawmill. Go ahead and head over to the purchase point. It's tucked around on the back side right over here. Yeah, right over here. Here it is. 100,000 for the sawmill. We have our wood cell trigger right there. We have the input for the wood right here in the kind of a mill pond area. And our output was over here. Right over here is the output, and wood chips spawn in the corner right over there. So now coming up is the reason why I emphasize the grain mill being a production point, because up here we have a grain mill sell point. You'll see it right there in front of that building. So now we come up to the tunnel right here, get to the other side. And we'll stop right here. Oops. Tucked away behind this building. This is the Sandbrecka Bakery for 50,000. You can purchase this. Inputs here, and I believe the output was in the back. No? Doesn't look like it's marked for the output. I'm going to presume possibly in the back or along the side is where it will spawn. Let's go ahead and hop back in the tractor. Debris crusher off to my left. Gas station buy point to the right. And now we have to go up the mountainside again. You can kind of see the red roofs just over top of that hill there for our next farm. So as we just continue to head up the hillside here. There we go. Now we can start seeing the farm come into view. And there are two tucked away back here. This is going to be farm number 6 and 7. go ahead and stop right here and take a look at the map. So we're here at one of the farms, came up and around to the main road here, came over here to the shop area, the train silo, went across the street to the cheese production point, over to the lime station, to the Joker sell point, up to the spinnery, over to the grain mill production point, the Fjorddal harbor sell point, the bale sell point, the animal dealer. We then came out over here to the farmer's market, back over to the carpentry area here, the sawmill here, the grain mill sell point, then over to the bakery, as well as the debris crusher, the gas station, and then up this road all the way around to this area here. Farmland number 7 can be purchased for $438,512, and you can see, whoops, you can see here we now have all the triggers, sleep trigger as well as a wardrobe trigger. Behind me we have another cow barn. I believe that's the output for the milk. We do have a bit of storage in here. Around this side, slurry output here. We have our cow dialog box here for 80 cows. Open this up, and our feed can go in here. And then, up on top of this hill, we have the last thing on this farm, which is bees. We have several bees right here, and a honey pallet spawn point. Let's go ahead and buy the next farmland just to the north. Farmland number 6 for $426,380. Purchase that. Head back out towards the tractor and up the hill. So now up here, tucked around the back side, is your sleep trigger right here, and then over here is the sheep barn. Now this one is actually rather interesting. So we come over here, we have room for 200 sheep, and to be able to do anything with this one, this also comes with its own little production point. Open the gates here, and here is your production. You can make grass into silage. So we put our inputs and outputs are right here, and this is your feed point for your sheep. So everything's done inside this little barn here. Now let's go ahead and get rid of that right there. And now we're going to make our way over towards the tractor to finish out the rest of this tour. Actually, no. We're not going to the tractor. What I need to do at this point is I need to jump over to the train. So, because what happens is we can take the tractor over to this next point of interest over here, but the problem is that then we have a selling point right over here as well. So we're just going to hop in the train real fast, and then we're going to just take the train the rest of the way. So the train station is right here, and oh, perfect timing. 600 meters away. It's going to be coming in that direction. Don't think I could have timed that any better. You can see it coming down the hill there. So we got one more production point, and we've got one more sell point to look at. There it is. And here we go. Not often that we get to take the train here in one of these tours, but it's nice when it happens. So we just follow this all the way up to the island here. Now I will show that there is a slight crossing here on these bridges for vehicles. You can see off to my right, that lane right there is supposed to be used for your tractors, your vehicles to get across over to this island. The problem is that it is extremely narrow, and if you're off even by a slight margin, you're going to get absolutely crushed by this train. So be very, very careful when you're crossing this road, and make sure that you have small equipment, because if you don't, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Now, right here, we have the Freya chocolate production point, 50,000 to purchase. We have an input right here and an output right over there. And heading to our last point of interest, going to cross the second bridge right over here. Again, this one does have the road network. It is right here to my left. That is supposed to be for traffic, but again, very, very narrow. You can see just how beautiful this map is. You can see that massive hill, that field on the hill right over in front of me there. That thing is steep. So like I was saying earlier, you're going to have to come up with equipment that has the most amount of horsepower, but in the smallest of packages possible, because of these really narrow road networks. So you're going to have to come up with some very interesting choice of equipment for this map. Now, coming into the tunnel here, we're going to have 2 points of interest. I'm going to go ahead and read them off the top here, so when we see them, it's not like I'm trying to list them off as we drive by. First one is a rent train trigger, and the next one is the train tunnel sell point. So the sell point is going to be right in the middle of the tracks here. It's coming up around this corner, and the rent train trigger will be along the side. There's the sell point there, and the rent train trigger is right there. And that's it. That is everything here on Fjorddal. Now it's time to render my opinion and let you know what I think. 0 to 5 scale as per usual. I really like this map. This map has a lot of different elements that you don't see on a lot of maps. So the terrain, number one, is probably the most noteworthy thing on this map. There's so much going on this map that just makes it very interesting and very pleasing to look at. It's going to make for very challenging farming, and the road network itself is also a challenge, because you're going to have to sit there and make sure that you're paying ever attention wherever you're going, because if you're not paying attention, you're going to run into a fence, you're going to fall off a cliff, you're going to do so many different things. So one of those where it's not one where you're going to be able to just kind of put your mind on cruise control and just kind of do whatever it is you want to do. The color palette's nice. It's very toned down, very muted. Not very colorful. You do get some flowers, but not a ton. A little bit of whites and yellows, but it's not enough to make it feel cartoonish. It makes it feel nice and inviting. The town area here is very nice. Kind of a nice kind of separation. You do get this like nice little distance between all the relevant farms and the actual town itself. So it feels like you're actually coming into town to do something. It's really nice. It's all in all, I think a very, very pleasant map. And all that being said, 0 to 5 scale, I'm thinking probably around a 4. I think that this one's a really nice one, and like I said, you got a lot that you can do with it. But I hope you enjoyed this map tour. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. That shows you're engaged with this channel, enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.